for future generations. The Maine Coast Heritage Trust, protecting the character of Maine. In 2006, Governor Baldacci created the Maine Council on Quality of Place. What is it? Maine's quality of place is our majestic mountains, unbroken forests, open fields, wild rivers, pristine lakes, our widely celebrated coast, picturesque downtowns, lively arts and culture, authentic historic buildings, and exceptional recreation opportunities. He said it's our principal advantage in today's global economic competition. This quote was also bandied about. I am dedicated to protecting Maine's working waterfront by ensuring that the state continues to protect the health of our fisheries and marine-related industries. Well, that went down the toilet. We protected many beautiful natural treasures. Only now, Mr. Angus King himself proposes 2 industrial wind sites that will ruin the viewshed of a number of those places, plus the Appalachian Trail. Mr. King's Record Hill project ruins the views from Mahoosic Preserve, Rumford Whitecaps, and Tumbledown Mountain. Patriot Renewables proposed projects on Spruce Mountain in Woodstock, Colonel Holman in Dixfield, and Saddleback in Carthage. One? What you said? Oh.
Literally.
Thank you. I'm Lynn Williams. Jonathan and I make a good team because Jonathan talks about natural resources and the land and the animals, and I talk about the people. I represent a number of community groups that have been or are going to be impacted by these developments. And what I say to people when I'm talking about these proposed developments is 3 questions. One is siting, and I agree with Angus. Siting is extremely important. The second is size, and size is not an issue that has been raised. We're talking, as was said, about 400 feet tall structures. And if any of you are physics guys or engineers, you know what the width of the mast of such a tall structure would need to be. In Bar Harbor, we have a wind ordinance. It's 60 feet for residential and 80 feet for commercial. And no one complained to us about that ordinance when we passed it. College of the Atlantic, Jackson Lab, MDI Biological Laboratory are all planning on putting in wind towers. Farmers are putting in wind towers, and they can live within that. And what this brings us to, though, is my 3rd point. Who benefits? Who benefits when these industrial facilities are put in R1, RR1, RR2 residential rural districts in our state? When Beach Hill Farm, owned by College of the Atlantic, put in a windmill under the limit on their farm on MDI, they get the power. When 42 turbines go in on Rollins Ridge, or 30-something turbines in Mars Hill, or X number of turbines on Roxbury, and the turbines in Kibbe, and the turbines that they want to put in an expanded, expedited area on Sisk, who benefits? The New England grid benefits and ships all of this power out of state. No one in this state is benefiting from that power. We are a net exporting state. We produce more power in state than we need. The fact of the matter is, and I'm surprised no one mentioned climate change here, because for a while there it was, oh my God, climate change. We have to have industrial wind facilities because there's horrible climate change. Wind is by nature sporadic. Wind doesn't blow constantly like the rivers do, and like the coal-burning plants, as horrible as they are, do. Wind is sporadic. If the percentage of wind in the grid becomes too high, we need to create new backup sources of power, which are not alternative energy. They will, in fact, be coal, nuclear, LNG, or other sources of power that are consistent, that can back up the wind. So there are so many downsides to not wind. Wind, I would put in wind on my property, and you'll hear Peter speak, and I hope he'll speak of this. There are many other styles, second, third, and fourth generation of turbines that are much better with the noise and other impacts. I'm not against wind, but I am against us being colonized by corporations, and what they're colonizing are our rural, lower-income communities with promises of jobs, which are initially construction jobs because the ongoing jobs are minimal because these are electronically controlled, promises of jobs in exchange for the TIFs and the tax credits and the other benefits. And none of this, remember this, none of this power is coming to us. None of this is powering our homes, our businesses, or our cars, or any other facilities in the state. So again, the three things I think of when I talk to people about industrial wind development, because I get calls from throughout the state, is what's the size? And, you know, Vinyl Haven, for example, and there are other issues there, and their size is the same, very tall turbines, but at least they're community owned, and the power is going to those people. In none of these other projects is the power going to any Mainer. I think we really, really need to focus on that. If a community chooses to coalesce around a project, and I'm a firm believer in home rule and community control, particularly on land use issues, if a community chooses to have a project, that is their prerogative. But if they choose to have that project, they should make sure that they are the ones that are going to benefit from that project, and not out-of-state folks. Lastly, I'll throw out just one little thing about process, and it was alluded to. We do have a expedited wind ordinance, and I'll just put out two things about that. One is this expedited wind ordinance will not allow a community to present evidence of visual impact unless the viewshed includes certain national or state areas of importance. So it's in most of these projects, we are not allowed to bring up the question of visual impact. When I was before the state Supreme Court a month ago, appealing the permit in Lincoln at Rollins Ridge, Justice Alexander said to me, "How come you never brought up the visual impact? You've been here before and you brought up visual impact." And I'm like, "Your Honor, we are not allowed to." The second is, the law includes a presumed public benefit. The presumption is that there is a benefit of these projects. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And finally, Peter Woodruff.